It's a shame they got Rigondeaux. I mean, they holding up this little ass belt for Rigondeaux. If you don't know, he got stripped of his WBO and WBO titles at 122 pounds. We found out from some good YouTube reporting that people have been doing that it is indeed Rigondeaux who didn't want to fight Lomachenko because of the weight, from what we're hearing, or something like that. Anyway, I'm T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live. Guillermo Rigondeaux is finally, you know, with a promotional company that will provide the financial backing behind him, so people won't say, "Oh, well, Rigondeaux don't bring in no money." I wanna listen to what his he's getting an interview right now, but I'm gonna listen to that later. But anyway, 121.5. He's still the Ring Magazine champion. They had that belt out there. He's holding up in this little WBC belt. Now, from my understanding, that if he was to fight in December, because before this fight came into play, less than 10 days notice, Rigondeaux versus Francisco, Rigondeaux was in position to fight a guy by the name of, I believe, Jose Reyes. Correct me if I'm wrong. And that would have made him #1 contender for Leo Santa Cruz vacated WBC title at 122 pounds. But here's another situation that may play out really, really good for boxing fans is Rigondeaux, as I said, now has the financial backing of Rock Nation Sports. So therefore he can say, okay, well, you can't avoid me because I don't bring in any money anymore. It can be on HBO, a fight between either Carl Frampton or Scott Quigg. Now, the WBA has said that the winner of Carl Frampton versus Scott Quigg, the WBA world champion, is going to be fighting for Rigondeaux's WBA Super World Championship that he was stripped from. So basically, even though they stripped him, they said basically, we'll give you a chance to redeem yourself and win your belt back. But in my opinion, I don't even know why the WBA stripped him in the first place, because he did fight at the end of last year, the end of 2014. But I'm guessing when he fought Hasashi Yamagata, that's the guy whose jaw he broke. I'm guessing when he fought him, he wasn't a WBA, like he wasn't ranked by the WBA or the WBO. But basically, the WBO just said pretty much, we're done with you. They stripped him, you know, and said he's just been inactive. I'm waiting to see if they're going to show the main event weigh in, because I don't want this video to be too long. But anyway, I don't want to confuse myself. But see, Carl Frampton and Scott Quigg, the IBF and the WBA world champion, are fighting in February. Rigondeaux now with Rock Nation can go to a Carl Frampton or Scott Quigg. Maybe not a Carl Frampton. We'll talk about that later. Or Scott Quigg and say, hey, listen, now, you know, let's put this in a stadium over here and put it on HBO. You know, I'm pretty much sure Rock Nation will cough up the money. Like, Rigondeaux is an investment, especially if you can get 2 belts, you know, 2 belts and possibly 3 if the WBC still keeps him as, I guess, the #1 contender for the WBC at 122. And they're pretty much kind of doing him a favor, because I guess they look at it like, well, since you got stripped by the WBO and the WBA, you're Guillermo Rigondeaux, we're going to give you a chance to win your to win a belt, the green belt. And you know with the WBC, sometimes they just throw people up in the rankings. But I'm interested to see how sharp Rigondeaux is going to look. This guy, Drian Francisco from the Philippines, 10-day notice creative fighter. You know, this is not a fight where it really means anything. It's just that it's good for us boxing fans and people who are interested in the politics and the business of boxing to see Guillermo Rigondeaux land on a Rock Nation pay-per-view, or a pay-per-view in general, Rock Nation, Golden Boy, a pay-per-view in general in 10 days notice on an undercard, something that fans didn't think would possibly ever happen. We were talking about him fighting on PBC. Now he's fighting on pay-per-view undercards, you know, so with 10 days notice. So I'm T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live. Of course, I'm going to be covering the card. I'm even going to cover that Jason Velez, Ronnie Rios fight. That's for the WBC. Oh, they're bringing out a belt. Oh, T Street Controversies. It's for the it's time for the wait a minute. This whole, I'm gonna talk about it in my Cotto Canelo video. Let me get to the weigh-in. I'm T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live, and I cover every single Major Fight Live. Please subscribe.